Oh yeah, we're playing D&D. Oh yeah.
We are, yes.
And everyone's back.
All two of us.
We're just talking. Let's talk about masks and cushions and shipping
Well,
things around the world.
That is just the way the world is at the moment.
Pay no attention to this dungeon. It's not. It's It's just the end level of this adventure. No worries. So you hike back to the central part of the cavern, having dispatched another orb. The purple power orb is Dunzo.
Boom.
So you get back to where Kerithlana is guarding Stiiv. And Stiiv is like, she's punched me enough, I'm not charmed anymore. And then you see Kerithlana sock him unconscious again.
I feel like Kerithlana's enjoying that a lot.
He keeps saying that, but it could just be a deceptive ruse. You know how we are.
That's true, because we are known for lying. Right. So, we think southeast, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Stealth
so you peer to the south. What you can tell is a lot of the combat has died down. There aren't any signs of combat. All the tigers are dead, and you see that devil soldier, he looks wounded. Still wearing the mask, though. It's kind of gleaming gold. Looks like it's screaming still. He's working heartily over the corpses of the two fallen fiendish tigers, carving off some claws to add to his necklace.
He is not nice.
Totally distracted.
Okay.
But there's an agitated gnarly bird that he's kept his distance from across the acid, and it's just kind of flying, still mad, but it hasn't found a target quite yet, flying all around the infernal portal to the south. At one point you see the bird disappear through the portal, like as by accident. It poofs out of sight when it goes to that portal. But after about a minute, it appears again. So it's just flying willy-nilly. It's not intentionally going through this portal, but in its agitation, it seems to kind of like, oops, run through it, and then oops, accidentally come back. But from what you can tell, both things are wounded.
Do we want to try and sneak past them? Good. All right. Okay. We're going to try and sneak past and go sort of like down that eastern side wall to keep close to that.
Okay.
Stealth.
I'm going to just double check, make sure, because I'm not sure what spells a cleric of Kerithlana's persuasion has. She's going to guidance you guys so that you'll get a plus D4 on your stealth checks. Good luck! I'll just stay here, punching Stiiv, keeping him out of trouble.
Okay. Do you want us to roll a stealth check?
Yes.
Do we automatically get the D4 or do we need to run that separately?
You'll have to roll that separately.
Oh god, I need all the help I can get. You're fine, yeah.
Yeah, Shaefira's fine. Now I have to roll for the thing. Okay, yeah. Nothing notices Shaefira, but they totally notice Kymir.
Uh-huh. Right.
Let me roll one more thing, though. Because I need to see, not only did the devil soldier kind of look up from carving his tiger trophies and spot Kymir flat out, but it's possible that maybe the gnarly bird noticed him as well as noticing you. So I'm going to roll a stealth for that soldier.
If they come and attack me, you go off to one side, and then once
Oh,
they go
and
at me, come and get me from that.
the bird like is here's Kymir kind of like oop trip a rock a little bit, kick a pebble into the acid pool, and like there's this loud sizzling noise and plop. So both the devil soldier has looked up, spotted Kymir, and he's like, "What?" The bird kind of whirls around with its wide wingspan and lets out a squawk. And not only, was drawn by the sound that Kymir caused, but the first thing the bird sees is this devil soldier. And it's like, wah, 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 and it's like starting to fly towards the soldier. Whereas the soldier is looking at you guys and kind of wiping off its halberd's blade of the tiger blood and eyeing you up as fresh blood.
Okay, so it doesn't know that the bird's coming after him.
It doesn't realize the bird's coming after him yet. Roll initiative. And Stiiv is not in this. And Kerithlana's going to hold it back. I didn't make you guys move.
No, I suppose it's more realistic that we would have moved down here, sort of thing.
So I will roll initiative for Kerithlana, but she's like in the back. Do I remember how to initiative? Okay, that's on form. So Shaefira is the first to get to do something. I should roll initiative for these creatures anew, because they've been holding on the same initiative forever. And they did kind of end their combat. But go ahead and do what you're doing.
He says, go ahead and do what you're doing. Yeah, you're first.
Well, I'm kind of stealthed, so I don't know if I want to do anything just yet.
Oh, thanks.
I maybe wait to see what happens with the bird and the devil and you.
The deep blue sea?
Yeah.
I actually did roll high enough with this devil soldier that he's moving like toward where Kymir is. And he tries to shoot a crossbow at Kymir.
Can I deflect missiles on a crossbow, or is that too fast?
You can, because it's a missile. What does your deflect missiles entail?
That's what I'm trying to work out.
I don't remember. It's been so long. I know it's cool, but I'm like, it's a key point, right?
You can use your reaction to deflect or catch the missile when you are hit by a ranged weapon attack 20 to 60 feet. When you
Totally.
do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dex modifier plus your monk.
Okay, we'll see if he hits.
Okay. The key point is if I want to throw it back at him.
He totally misses.
Okay, I'll not worry about it just yet then.
Flies wide. You're like, whatever. I don't even need to deflect that. It lands by Steve's ear. But fortunately, he's unconscious, so he doesn't realize what a close call it was. And it is Shaefira's turn. She's still sneaking.
I think I'm going to stay sneaking just for the time being.
And I haven't rolled for this bird. The bird is faster than you as well, Kymir. While Shaefira is sneaking, the bird starts to fly after Kaka, after the dude in a mask.
Okay, I am going to Radiant Bolt Dude in a Mask.
All right.
Ugh. Do I want to spend my last key point? Straight. I'll spend my last key point to do 2 extra radiant bolts. 1. Oh, bloody hell. 2. Oh, fuck off.
Oh my god. That's really unfair. I'm sorry that happened.
Kymir sits there and sulks.
8, 11, 13, all not enough to land on this masked soldier. Kerithlana, she just lets off a sacred flame on the masked dude. It succeeds because apparently it has some kind of advantage against spells. I think that's what's going on. Let me look at him. What's actually going on? Oh yeah, he has advantage against spells apparently. So little bolt of light comes down from the ceiling of the chamber of this stone walls that make up the caverns of Kymir. It lands on this dude like it should, zap him with the holiness that Kerithlana has called forth. But no, it just fizzles and he shrugs. And he still has his eye on you, Kymir. Stiiv is unconscious.
Okay.
Dave is across the cavern still because I forgot to move him. And he's like, oh boy! You hear him say, oh boy, but he hasn't become visible. You hear his wings flapping near you, Kymir.
Okay.
But he's a little bit behind you. He's a bit scared. Top of the order. Devil Soldier still really unhappy at Kymir's general direction. I think you guys, Shaefira... Never mind. I'll have you roll stealth again at your turn. Tries to shoot another bolt at Kymir. This one's a hit, so this is when you would
right.
deflect.
Okay, so 1d10 plus my dex modifier. Dex modifier
So that's
is
12?
3. Yep.
So you
and
would
my
absorb
monk
up to
level.
12 damage? Is that what you're telling me?
And my monk level as well.
Oh! So that's going to totally absorb all of the damages that would happen. Because I'm going to roll... yeah, he would have only done 6 damage to you. So you can use a key point to throw it back.
I can't. I've used them all.
Okay, so you just basically catch the bolt in your grip, toss it aside into the acid. It sizzles away, so he can't retrieve it, assuming he would make it out of this combat alive. And that's... oh, wait. Nope. Takes too long for him to reload his crossbow, so he only does make that one ranged attack. Gnarly Bird's turn. Gnarly Bird swoops up behind the man in a mask, the devil in a mask, and launches at him with its talon. Hits. Gouges out his back for 8 damage. But you see, like, this gnarly bird has enormous talents, and Kymir, you're a little bit shook because you feel like against the robe that you usually wear, your monk's garment, and your dainty skin, that those talons would have done a lot of bad things to your flesh. And this soldier seems to be tough enough that it's resisted that talon damage somewhat. Like, you're surprised that the soldier doesn't look more fucked up than he does. And then the gnarly bird tries to gore at the soldier with its beak, but misses. A little bit too angry for good aiming. Shaefira, roll stealth. While a 16 is pretty stealthy, maybe it's the kind of awareness that the sharp pain of the gnarly bird's talons sinking into his back brought this devil soldier. But the soldier whirls around to see what just attacked him, and in the process looks directly at Shaefira, sees that she's there across the way, but as much as he's aware that you're there now, Shaefira, the soldier has turned, and his focus is definitely on the gnarly bird at his back.
Okay.
So it's your turn to, like, murder things.
Okay. I'll shoot an arrow at him.
Can we tell which one looks the worst out of the two, damage-wise?
You think the devil soldier definitely has large gouges in his armor. There's the scars in his back where the gnarly bird tore at him. He definitely looks pretty bad for wear. Like, he's bloodied and he looks worse for wear. The gnarly bird is the more scary of the two creatures. So you hit him with your short bow with a 19. The piercing damage of your arrow seems partially resisted. That while this soldier has taken a lot of damage, he is rather tough.
Okay.
So you feel like while you would expect on another creature that arrow would have probably taken him out, didn't quite do it with this guy.
Okay. I'll see you.
Kymir.
I think I'm going to have to risk it. I'm going to attack him with my scythe. Oh my god. And... Ooh!
Your offhand hits with a natty 20.
Finally. Right.
And you slash through his throat, and the masked head just kind of slices, cleaved from his shoulders. And you see the head kind of roll along the cavern floor by your feet, and then this golden mask pops off. And you see below it, it's just the mask. I mean, it's just the face of a devil, but his expression reflects that of the screaming golden mask that it wore in life.
That's odd. Right.
And there's a gnarly bird looking straight at you.
Oh, I was
flapping
hoping
its
the gnarly
wings.
bird might want to eat the devil. Does it? Will it have an attack of opportunity if I back away?
You're not flanking it at this
Right
point.
next to it. Okay, and then I'm going to go back over here.
Kerithlana is going to try to let out. She's like, "Ooh, that's not good, but this is really kind of stressful." So she's going to just do another sacred flame. But the gnarly bird seems to kind of resist magic as well. And the sacred flame doesn't seem to do anything to the gnarly bird. Just shakes it off, and she's like, "Well, that's not good." Dave goes invisible. I don't like Vrocks. You guys kind of killed its baby.
But you can talk to it, can you, Dave?
It probably doesn't like you. I don't think it likes you.
Okay.
It doesn't know you killed its baby. I mean, I'm not gonna tell him.
No, please don't tell
That
him
probably
that.
wouldn't be a good idea. That idea probably sucks. Yeah, I'm just gonna hide. Okay. Top of the order is the gnarly bird. And the gnarly bird sees you guys across the cavern. Lets out a screech that is unearthly. Both of you roll Constitution saves.
Constitution.
You have both saved. So it is Shaefira's turn.
I've got a couple of hand axes left, so I think I'll chuck one of them at him, the angry bird. Fuck.
13 misses.
And I'll stay. Maybe I'll just move a bit further down here.
Kymir.
Sunbolt, so I don't have to get too close to it.
All right, 22 hits.
Some damage.
And you land the sunbolt, and it seems to do full damage with its sunbolt.
That's all I can do. And there's no point moving away, so
I guess a sunbolt is not considered a magical effect, but just, purity. Sun ain't magic, it's natural. Kerithlana's like, well, I don't see why your sun's better than my sun. She's going to try to do another Sacred Flame. But the gnarly bird saves again, or the creature that Dave referred to as a Vrock saved again. So Kerithlana is just shrugging. She's like, I don't think it's a good thing. It's a very rude bird. The bird at this point kind of shoots out a cloud of spores. Basically surrounding it. You're not in like the wall of spores. It kind of creates this cloud surrounding the bird. So it's partially covered. But you guys are not standing within the cloud at this point. Like, you're just out of range, Kymir. Moving any closer to the creature would put you within this cloud of spores. And it's Shaefira's turn.
I guess I'll chuck my last hand axe at him.
Now, since there's partial cover from the cloud, you'll have to click the button probably on your bottom left that says -2 to reflect the partial cover.
Okay.
And a 13 is a miss.
I shall stay where I am.
Kymir.
I'm assuming I would have to do the same with my sunbolt. The -2.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's a ranged attack, right?
Yeah, and there's no way in hell I'm getting any
It's not a
closer to it.
save.
Wow.
And that's even with a -2. So you hit. Okay, you do another 5 damage. There's a little bit of an angry squawk coming within the cloud of spores.
I'll stay put.
Kerithlana's like, golly. Not quite sure how to be helpful, so she just kind of steps forward and does a healing word on in Shaefira's general direction. And heals Shaefira her 5 points.
Ta.
Dave is still scared and invisible. My computer's being weird. It just realized that I have a mouse that I'm using again. And now we have Gnarly Bird. It's Gnarly Bird's turn again. Both of you guys roll a d6. All right. For some reason, Gnarly Bird has taken more of an exception to Shaefira than Kymir, the one who's been pelting it with sunbolts. Flies out of the cloud up upon Shaefira. And as it hovers over Shaefira with its large, gnarly wings, it tries to claw at her with its talons. And it misses spectacularly. But it still tries to peck at her with its large, curved beak. It's razor sharp at the tip. And that lands, striking her quite devastatingly. And the beak does 13 damage, piercing damage, to Shaefira.
My eye.
And that is the Gnarly Bird's turn. It is now Shaefira's turn.
Mm.
Can you reach it?
No. Yeah. I'll stab it with my dagger.
It's flying, but we'll say it's like not, 30 feet up in the air.
So I could like puncture its stomach or something.
You can stab it in the trunk.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah, a natty 1 would be a not.
Yeah, so disengage and...
Disengage as your bonus action and run away?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to reveal some of the map because where you are, you should have more visibility of the stuff that was to the other direction. So you see that there is a cavern that opens up to the southeast, and you also spotted that there is a blue orb in that direction.
Okay.
So run away, run away. You're
Yeah.
staying along the edge of the cloud of spores.
Yes.
And it's Kymir's turn.
Okay. Stick with that. Your radiant bolt. Oh, your
And
ass.
it is a miss. It's still, from where you're standing right now, the cloud is blocking you a little bit, so you still have that -2. But there is, like, if you moved, there would be a line of sight that isn't blocked by the cloud. Like a little bit to your east would not be blocked.
Yeah. Well, let me move in front of Shaefira. Oh, do I want to move in front of Shaefira? Yeah, I've got more hit points than you at the moment, so let's be all brave and stupid and stand there.
As you do.
As you do, yeah. Oh, as Kymir likes to do.
Kerithlana starts. Let's see, what does she do? Well, you're not across a chasm anymore, so that's pretty nice. I'm going to save that last second spell slot for healing, maybe when this is all done. So do you want heals, or do you want me to try to have her try to damage something?
Heals?
Yeah.
Heals
Okay.
for later.
Probably need them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kerithlana runs forward, lays a hand on Shaefira's shoulder, and does a cure wounds. And heals you for 6.
Ta.
And she also hands you another piece of tasty bacon, just in case you could, like, set to nibbling. You know, while you're waiting to attack again, just have a snack.
Yeah.
So Dave's still hiding. The blue orb is kind of chilling down there. And it's the gnarly bird's turn again. Gnarly bird is going to try, and it flies up and it tries to slash at Kymir with talons. And it hits with a dirty 20. Talons slice through Kymir for 15 damage. And then tries to peck, lands with a 21. And does 14 more damage.
Bloody hell.
And that is the gnarly bird. Gnarly bird being extremely gnarly towards Kymir. It's now Shaefira's turn.
You could try. Wasn't it resistant to spells, or was that the devil?
Spells with with saves. If it's a ranged spell attack, no.
Okay.
I'm gonna chuck a fireball at it and see what happens.
A 14
Not
misses.
surprised. I'm gonna hide behind Kerithlana.
Kerithlana's like looking over her shoulders, like, wait, no, I don't think this isn't good.
Well, I can either attack it or I can take a healing potion to try not to die. What is this step of the wind again? Is that a key point? Oh, I ain't got any key points.
You hear Stiiv come to across the cavern, and Steve's like, "Hey, don't knock me out. Let me help. Let me help." And Kerithlana's like looking over his shoulders, like, "Should I punch him?"
At this point, he might as well help us before I die. We can always punch him out afterwards if it keeps him distracted. I'm going to drink my greater healing potion. If I can figure out how to do that.
I think that's like
4d4
2d8 plus something.
I suppose that's the same thing, isn't it? 4d4 plus 4?
Yeah.
So I roll
4d4
4d4 plus 4, yeah.
Yep.
4. So 12, yeah?
12 points of healing.
Right. So.
It's tasty.
So what do I reduce my wounding?
make your wounds be 17 instead of 29.
There, that works. Okay, cool. But if I try and run away, he's going to attack me, isn't he?
Yeah, because you're out of key points, so you can't do anything that would let
No,
you
I can't do
just
anything.
zap. So you're kind of stuck there, and
Yeah.
I think your bonus actions, you only get to use your attack bonus actions when you attacked on your main.
Yes. Yeah, so I can't do anything.
So
other
you're pretty
than...
much drinking a potion and holding
Yeah.
ground. You could like...
That's it.
Okay, Kerithlana. What could Kerithlana do? I mean, I guess she's not going to take the time to punch out Stiiv, because he's way back there, and that would take way much effort for at this point. And things are pretty, like, serious. Let me check this one thing. Okay, that's a saving throw, so I'm not going to do that. She's going to summon her puffin, which happens to already be here. Put it next to the gnarly bird. And her spiritual puffin is going to whack at the bird.
Bird on the bird.
She rolls really badly, which I'm so embarrassed about, because I was trying to help. And then she kind of, oh gosh, it's a really tight squeeze. Does she have any ranged attacks? She's going to throw a spear at this dude, at this gnarly bird. Because trying to get closer means going through the scary cloud, and I don't think she would do that. But she lands with the spear.
Oh my god, we've discovered a hidden talent.
It does seem like the piercing damage is resisted somewhat, but she does 3 damage to the gnarly bird, which is more than 0 and therefore helping.
For sure.
And now it is Steve's turn. He wiggles out of the blanket. And what does he do? He has to dig into the bag of holding to try to find his short sword. Let's just say he calls Toby, because he likes calling Toby. And the Toby is near well, I thought I summoned Toby, but I didn't summon Toby. I don't know how to make Toby large. Yeah, I don't know how to make Toby large. Toby's a little bit dainty today. Yeah, the role of Toby today is going to be played by Tobitha rather than Tobithoth. And first, so Toby's going to try to do his fondling of ouches, his grasp of the deep. And hits with a 25. And is going to try cold to see if cold is nice. It's partially resisted, but he does 3 more damage to the gnarly bird. And then Stiiv is like, okay, well, I like to do Eldritch Blast. So he's just going to Eldritch Blast. Sends out a cloud of green smoke, but misses. Very excited, and he's been unconscious for quite some time.
That's enough to put anyone's aim
And
off.
he's still feeling like this strong longing to go get a glass of ice water instead of help a little bit, but he feels like he can control his brain. because he's been punched a lot. So that's Stiiv. Dave is still hiding. Orb is still orbing. Top of the order is the gnarly bird. The gnarly bird tries to gnarl Kymir again. But misses with its talons. Tries to hit with it, score Kymir with its beak. And misses again. I rolled 2 8s.
Did.
Shaefira.
I'm going to try and do Firebolt again.
You hit with a 21. And you manage, it is partially resistant, but you do 5 damage with the fire.
Yay. I'm staying here.
Now you see that this bird does look, I mean, it's still large. And it's still like flying, it's pretty significant with its presence and dangerous looking, but you see it's taken a lot of damage. There are large gashes on it. One of its wings seem to have had many of its feathers and the leather that spans between the bones of its wing has been shredded. So it's a little lopsided in how it flies. So you would consider this bird to be bloodied, but it's still very dangerous looking.
All right, I'm going to hit it with the scythe, hopefully. Or not. Okay.
I just thought of something. You have a spell, don't you? That's good for these situations.
Spell. I've got heroism.
Yeah, I would suggest this would be a good time to cast that.
But I've just used my action. All right, then forget that I attacked it. What do I do to cast this?
I feel like I wish I had told you that maybe it would have been a good idea to cast it back before we started this combat, and I failed you somehow.
Do you know what? I've been sat here for the last 3 rounds thinking, why didn't I cast that before we actually started doing anything?
Because this would have been a time to you would have wanted that extra boomph on all the rounds.
So how does that work with the temporary hit points then?
I have to remind myself.
Do I do that?
There's that temp space. You put that in.
Temporary hit points at start of turn. 2 temporary hit points at start of turn. Oh, so I stick that in my... Right. 2. Right. That's pretty much all I can do then.
Now, it is concentration, so if you get hit again, there's a chance that you might lose the effect.
Okay.
But hey, you still had those 2 hit points when you get hit, so yay.
Yeah, that's true.
Kerithlana. She's going to try to, I think, toll the dead. Oh, is that a ranged thing?
Thought it was.
It's a save, so it's going to have advantage if I do that. How many spears does she have? She only had 1 spear. The skill set. Oh, let's see how long did the gnarly bird's cloud of spores last? It doesn't say what the duration is. But you know what I'm going to do is, for Kerithlana's turn, she's going to pull out a vial of holy water, and she's going to be like, okay, this is my skill set. And she's going to throw the holy water, splash, splash, on this cloud. And it's going to kind of sizzle under the holiness of that water and dissipate. So there's no longer this cloud of spores that's in the way. And that's going to be her turn. Kind of clearing up the playing field a little bit. Stiiv's turn. He's going to his Toby is going to try to fondle the bird. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spin you. Unlawful spinning.
He likes it.
I'm trying to find Toby. Where's Toby? Where's Toby on this sheet?
He's teeny tiny, just by. He's next to the puffin.
I'm looking like on Steve's sheet, like for the roll. Oh, there it is.
Ah.
So Toby fondles with an 18. Does 2 cold damage with the fondle. And Stiiv, he's moving up at this point. Not that close, but like that close. He's going to try to throw his barbed net that he took off of those troglodytes way back when over the gnarly bird. Wait, let me check and see what the rules for the net is. He misses. Oh, I didn't realize his ranged attack was that bad. Okay. Yeah, he misses with the barbed net, and it kind of like falls on the ground by Kymir. And so that was like his attempt at being helpful and effective. And I'm so bad at this. Gnarly Bird is back at the top of the attack order. And it's going to try to get Kymir again.
Bird is fixated on me.
It gets you with its talons. But because you've got the heroism on, I think that makes you partially absorb the damage. So you take... Oh, no, it's because of those temporary hit points. So you only take 11 damage rather than 13. And you succeed on your concentration check. So you still, next round, you'll have 2 hit points.
Okay.
And then the bird is going to try and get Stiiv with its beak. And it hits. And Stiiv is out because he takes 12 damage.
Oh,
He
no.
does not like that. The bird is a jerk. And now Stiiv definitely is no longer charmed.
Fab.
Shaefira.
I'll throw another firebolt.
You hit with the 21. Okay, you do 2 fire damage to the gnarly bird.
And I'll stay where I am.
Kymir. You get 2 more temporary hit points.
Okay. Put that back in there. Do I want to? See, I don't know whether to attack it or drink my last pot, do some bacon, or do what Stiiv was going to do and throw that net at it. Yeah, can I pick up his net? Chuck
Yes,
that
you
at the
can.
bird.
Yeah.
Right, what do I need to roll?
A ranged attack.
That would be my sunbolt. That's the only ranged I've got left.
So just roll that on the bird.
Okay. Oh, you fucker.
Wait, let me check something. I might retcon that. Does guidance only helps with skill checks, right?
think so, yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Where's a bard when you need one?
I know. There's not much else I can do, really.
I don't know of any way to make you do better on that roll.
Well, apart from rolling better, no. Right, I can't take any other actions. I can't. If I try and run away, it's going to go for me. Right. Yeah, I can't do what else, so.
Okay, it's Kerithlana's turn. Maybe Kerithlana can net. I don't know. She did okay with the spear.
That's true.
What are the odds? I just know like the alternative would be thunder waving, I think, and that would mean she doesn't have any heals left. She could heal you, I guess. She has one more cure wounds. Or she could try throwing the net and restraining the bird. So which would you prefer life or would you prefer a lack of bird?
For a lack of bird, but not if it means me dying.
I mean, either way, there's like you're subject to chance. It's like, what are the odds? Is it more likely she's going to hit the bird with the net, or is it more likely the bird's going to miss you next round?
Yeah, I know.
If it's not restrained, you know.
Fuck it, get her to cast heal on me. Or
Okay.
whatever it is, she's got cure wounds.
All right, so she heals you for 7 hit points.
Thank you, Kerithlana. Much appreciated.
And I forgot, her puffin. Her puffin is still available for attacking. So the spectral puffin ploops up. Cacaw. Chainsaw, and hits with a 21. Doing 7 points of damage. Woo-wee. I think that's all for Kerithlana at the Mo. So Stiiv moves Toby. Toby tries to fondle again. Yeah, I always lose where Grasp of the Deep is on his page. He hits with a dirty 20. And doesn't do any damage because I rolled a 1. Let's say that's 1. That's a pity 1. It hit fair and square, and I don't think it's fair that it doesn't do any damage. So 1 point of pity damage. And then Stiiv. Let me check. We'll say that he is not adjacent to the gnarly bird, that it's flying high enough that he can still make a ranged attack. Unless, let me look at this one. Oh, instead he's going to... No, we're going to do the Eldritch Blast. And he misses. So that was silly of me. Dave he pops into view. And he's struggling, but he tries to fly up and pick up the net with his little arms. It's a big struggle because the net is really heavy in comparison to how big he is. And I don't think he has a ranged attack. But it's going to be +3 for him to make a ranged attack versus what his normal melee attack is. Okay, so that totally he hits him with the net. So the Vrock, this little imp flies up. He's like, "Hello, I'm humanized. I will help. I will save Dave. I am Dave." And he like heaves up the barbed net off of the cavern floor with all the strength that his little imp arms can muster, and he hurls it forward toward the gnarly bird. And it managed to get perfectly entangled in the bird's wings. And the gnarly bird is now restrained.
Oh, Dave. More effective than the rest of us put together.
Find this damn net. Where's the damn net? So the bird can spend its next turn trying to get out of the net, and I'll have to make a save to see if it gets out. But for now, it's going to be restrained. And I need to add that effect. Restrained bird. All right. Yay, Dave.
Yes, indeed. Yay, Dave.
For this turn, let's say the bird is restrained and just like kind of flopping in surprise that it can no longer move. And the other interesting thing is because it is restrained, it's kind of plopped, unable to fly anymore, into the acid that it was flying over.
Huh.
Let me see. Oh, and it's a green acid too. So while the Vrock is sunk in the acid, it's not resistant, so it takes 8 points of damage while it is kind of trapped in this acid, writhing in the net. Shaefira.
I'll shoot an arrow at it. Oops. Why did it do 2?
Because it's restrained, you had advantage.
Oh, that's all right then. Thank goodness for that.
So you hit with a 24. The piercing damage is partially resisted, but you did 2 damage, which is more than 0.
It's more than I've been doing.
Right. I'll stay where I am.
Kymir.
Well, do you know what? I'm tempted to sit on the bird to keep it in the acid because it's going to do more damage than I've been managing so far. But instead, I'm going to hit it with my stick.
Okay, so you hit it with a 16.
All right.
All right. So you do 4 damage, and now the bird, like a bolt of electricity, shoots along your double-bladed scythe as you land a blow, and it arcs, hitting the Vrock. Let's see if it actually does anything to the Vrock. Because it has to make a DC 13 saving throw. What type of saving throw is that?
Constitution.
The Vrock has a decent constitution.
Typical.
But it did not roll enough. It rolled an 11. So whatever the additional lightning damage is happens.
It's 1d6, and then it takes an additional 1d6 on the next round.
Right.
So I just roll a 1d6 now.
Roll a 1d6. Now you find that the creature does seem to have some resistance to lightning damage. It only takes 3 points, but remember that 1d6 next round. It'll take another 3 points next round.
So, I will do my second hit.
21 hits.
Hey. On a roll.
So you do 5 more damage, and let me do another saving throw because this stacks. And it saves this time. So you still only have 1 stack of the lightning effect.
Okay, I've managed to hit the damn thing.
Yeah, and the gnarly bird looks extra gnarly now. It's got like this gaping wound where the lightning bolt kind of sunk into it and is kind of burning away. Feathers are smoking. You smell the burning. You know how burning hair smells. That's in the air, matching the caustic, acrid, natural stench of the acid pool. You feel like you're so close to defeating this bird. Shaefira. Oh, wait, no, that was Kymir's turn. Why did I not have it on Kymir? Yeah. Oh, I think I accidentally clicked on you. So Kerithlana decides to back away, and she starts a ritual. Like, she's feeling very positive about the way the tide has turned, and she's starting to cast, planning to do a healing, prayer of healing later. And she's starting to prepare. Stiiv, he's backing away too, because yep, scary bird. And he's going to have Toby try to fondle. Toby fondles
Toby's doing really well.
for 1 damage.
Hitting wise.
And Stiiv kind of like pats himself on the back that using the net seemed to have been a good idea because things got better once. And he like pats Dave, on the back, like, good job, Dave. And that'll be his turn. Dave disappears again because he's like, hey, I did what I could do. We're back to the bird. The bird is trying to, feels the sizzle of the acid. It feels the burning of the lightning. It wants to break free, and it's struggling, flailing for all its worth. And it tries to get out of this barbed net. I've already forgotten what saving throw I have to do. And I didn't define what the saving throw, so I'm going to use the default for this CR, which would be a 13. And I rolled an 11. So the bird fails to escape the net. And so it takes more acid damage. And you see, like, at this point, the bird is like at death's door. You see the acid has taken its toll, and the barbed net starts to split apart. The acid has eaten its away. So the bird's, frantically bursts free, and it's freed itself. But that's taken up its entire turn. So you'll have 1 more chance to attack it before it tries to do anything. Shaefira.
Okay, I'm going to go back to trying to get it with Firebolt.
So 13 misses, unfortunately. Oh, and I need to
Okay.
take the restraining off. So Firebolt, missed. Kymir, what are you going to do?
So it gets a 1d6 to start with, yeah?
Yeah, it gets a 1d6. Your lightning bolt, the lightning damage that you did earlier.
Yeah.
Pity 1.
Yeah.
Pity 1. But that bolt of a lightning, it ticks. And that damage over time is just enough that not even touching it, that little spark pops off of this demon bird and shocks it to death. And you hear this loud squawk. The bird kind of seizes, and then it collapses into the acid pool and starts to just sizzle in a silent heap.
Blimey. That was a tough old bird.
It was a tough old bird.
Mm.
Do you think it tastes like chicken?
No.
It's very spicy with all that acid.
Mm.
Mmm.
So you defeated whatever that devil soldier, whoever he was. You see there's still that mask that's left behind. The halberd that he was using is left behind. Let me investigate all of this stuff because I think there might have been loot. And I will put it in your party sheet. So as the demon bird, its body is kind of like floating in the acid, but as its flesh kind of sizzles away from the acid, you see there's this like gleaming green gem left inside of its gullet that's kind of sparkling up at you from the acid.
What, like it swallowed an emerald?
Yeah, like it swallowed a large peridot.
Huh.
If you like search around the area, you see that the bodies of the devil soldiers that were like killed by the Vrock earlier, they all had a variety of khopesh. And with the fallen masked soldier, he is wearing a very fancy cloak, which seems to match. It looks familiar to you. But do an Arcana check to see if you remember why it looks familiar to you.
No.
Okay, you guys definitely don't know why it looks familiar.
Just looks pretty.
There's some more gold and plat.
Yeah.
I will roll for Stiiv just in case Stiiv knows, because he has an Arcana kind of brain. Okay, skill. Stiiv just says, I think that cloak, it kind of looks like a gnarly baby bird baby blanket.
Oh.
Maybe that's a dragon baby blanket. I don't know. I think it's magic though.
Okay, who wants a cloak? Well, to be fair, it's just you and me here at the moment.
Yeah, there's only two of us. We can just go wild and
Yeah. So okay, there's this jewel. There's some money. There's this fancy cloak that seems magical. There's just commonplace weapons, and then there's this really creepy death mask that's made out of gold.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'll have the cloak. You can have the death mask,
Bugger.
unless you want the cloak.
I'm not fussed. I'm thinking the mask would be, strikes me as something that would appeal to Stiiv. I don't think we're bothered about the khopeshes. Unless we want to stick
No,
them
we
in
need to sell them, don't we? Put them in the bag of holding. Maybe.
Okay.
Make
Yeah.
some coin later. Make some salary money for your staff.
Yeah, I guess the halberd as well. Do you know what? Just stick all that in his bag of holding. I mean,
Okay.
we'll just... If Stiiv wants a mask, he can have it, or if he wants to have a look at it.
But Kymir is taking the cloak.
No, Shaefira.
Shaefira is taking the cloak. Okay, have you already grabbed it? Oh, that's right. I see you grabbed
Oh
it
yeah,
now.
it's gone.
Yeah, I took the cloak.
Color me not paying attention. I'm gonna put the gem with Shaefira too. I think because that seems like
Yeah, I've got some gems already.
that's money.
Shiny.
It's shiny and money. That sounds like the kind of thing that she just would nobody probably else noticed that it was there.
Mm.
Swoop in and grab it.
And it's already in her pocket. But Stiiv, bag of holding, we have golden mask, halberd, khopesh. Oh, it only did the one. I'll have to fix that. Loot is hard. Think about what you're doing at this point while I sort out this loot and remember how I'm supposed to. All right. I distributed money too.
Okay, so I think you said that Kerithlana was building up for a spell.
Yes, she used her last spell for a prayer of healing. And that does stuff.
Okay.
It heals. It heals a 2d8 plus 3, so let me heal you all. Does anybody... You guys, no one else was wounded, right?
Steve's looking a bit...
Oh, Stiiv got owied. Let me heal him too. He got the biggest roll. So Stiiv is back to full health.
Shaefira's back to full health.
Shaefira's full health. Wait, did I not? Oh, I rolled on Kerithlana instead of Kymir somehow.
No, you did Kymir. Kymir was on 15. It's on 27.
Did you get 12 points of healing?
I think so. I guess I'll lose my temporary hit points now.
You do after the minute. The minute has passed.
Yeah. And how do I take off the heroism then?
I will remove it.
Okay.
Let's say the puffin. The puffin goes night night.
Right.
Toby goes night night.
Let's go sort out that last orb.
Did you guys use the shrine that was at the entrance of this level?
If we did, and it was 3 weeks ago, I can't remember.
I'm sure we did.
It was 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you napped there. I think you just napped there. I don't know if you used it though.
It says we leave the brute, travelling south and find a shrine. We rest up and then follow the tunnel north. So it doesn't suggest that we use the shrine.
So you could potentially use the shrine to do a long rest. Or you can continue to the southeast and head towards that last orb.
No.
Well, do you want to get your key points back?
I do want to get my key points back, actually. That's a good point. So can we dash to the shrine and do a rest?
Yeah. And let's say let me look. Because I think who had the Metaline toothbrush before?
Oh, I was carrying.
Shaefira has it. So
well, we left it.
We left it with the pitten on that one thing. Let's say you went back that way, picked up the toothbrush, but now you know that it circles around. You take your long rest,
so we can just go
and then you come back the way where you don't have to cross the acid.
Okay.
Okay, so let me give you a long rest.
Can we have just 2 minutes to go get another drink?
Absolutely.
All right.
So I'm really trying to wrap up this level today.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So let me just, because we've run out of lager now.
Whoa, it's been a long session.
Couple minutes. Yeah, give us a couple of minutes. Yeah. Go back.
Welcome back. Is that everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So you've retrieved the Metaline toothbrush. You've taken an 8-hour sleep at the shrine, but because it's a magical shrine, you're allowed to do that long rest in the period it would normally take to do a short rest. So it only took an hour. And you also get healing from that. So does Kymir still have any healing? No, well, the long rest heals you all the way anyhow, so never mind. Besides, I think that's what we're going to treat them like real game shrines anyhow, because y'all are going to need healing in the future.
Yes.
A healing mechanism without a healing class character. So you've gotten back to the point where you've defeated your enemies. You see... I'm going to move you forward a little bit. You're able to navigate No probs this far.
Mm.
Dave's flying with you. He's visible now since there's no monsters around.
So that looks to me like a great big acid pool with no real path to the orb.
So you see to your west, there's still that infernal portal to the west where you're like, okay, creatures could potentially come through there at any point. You didn't encounter anything on your way back from the shrine, but you're assuming that's a portal to somewhere not nice that's still being protected by this last single orb. And then ahead of you, you see a narrow land bridge winding through this cavern of bubbling acid. And in the distance, you spy a sparkling, frosty blue orb. This land bridge extends from the plateau you're standing on to another plateau where the last orb rests. But it's less than a foot across in places. So whoever tries to travel along the small land bridge is going to have a keen sense of balance. So Kerithlana was like, well, I'm out. How about I go over to the infernal portal and assume gatekeeper position and get ready to walk with my flail?
Yeah.
And Steve's like, that sounds good for me too. So
Okay.
the least dexterous members of your party head over to the infernal portal, preparing to wonk. So the two of you who can actually make dex saves from time to time
Sounds.
are left to balance beam your way to the last orb.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Dave flies over there and he starts trying to bite, but he's like, it's cold! And it hurts! I don't like it! It's cold! It does cold things! I don't like it! So Dave's flown over there, but he's like, I can't do anything here.
Okay.
Uh,
Dex or acrobatics?
It's going to be an acrobatics check for every
God.
10 feet.
Oh, shoot. Hang on. Let me move.
what the actual chuff?
So Kymir's fine. But
10
Shaefira
feet.
slips! First 10 feet, she slips. And she's tumbling into the acid.
Can I grab her?
You can try to grab her. Do another saving throw to see if you catch her.
What? A dex saving throw.
Yeah. You need a 13.
Oh, bollocks, he's screwed.
Oh, you miss. So, Shaefira, you splash. You land in the acid. It's the deep kind. So you take 2d6 acid damage. You take 10 points of acid damage.
Okie dokie.
You're like actually in the acid, Shaefira.
There's no way I'm right in the middle of it.
But that's like just off to the side to where like you would have been standing had you not lost your balance or had Kymir been able to catch you. So Trina, is you're right next to the wall, so you can climb up next turn.
Okay.
No props. But for now, you're like in the ass. So,
Okay.
next turn. Kymir's fine. You move another 10 feet, another 2 squares along the wall. And Shaefira, you manage to crawl out. Say you're there.
All right.
Because if you're climbing out of a pool of acid, I don't see why you wouldn't climb the square that's a little bit closer to the end than the one that's closer to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Next round, so Shaefira, you successfully move another 10 feet. And Kymir, roll again. You successfully move another 10 feet. Now you're like right next to the platform, so you've made it, no problem. Shaefira, roll one more time.
Fucking hell.
I will roll a
Trip.
dex save again.
Yeah, dex save. See if you catch her.
Oh.
You managed to
yeah.
catch her this time. 14 is enough.
Yay.
So make one more acrobatics check, Shaefira. See if you stop wobbling. And you make it.
Yay.
So
Off
both
it,
of you have made it to the platform. There's the last orb. It's covered in an icy, like a round globe of ice. Frost coming up off of it. The air in this one area of the cavern is at least 15 degrees cooler than any other place in this cavern of acid and fire that you have crawled through thus far.
It's got to be fire damage, isn't it? Which I think is going to be you, because I don't think Sunbolt really classes as fire damage. It's radiance, isn't it?
I'll see what a firebolt does to it.
And I would say at this point, since it's like a stationary object, there's nothing else in this chamber that's going to try to get you. Just roll damages. And it's definitely vulnerable to the firebolt. Like, you shoot it with your firebolt, and it just slices through the ice, making this hole, and then it just burns into melting this, like, corner of the pedestal that's within the orb. Doing 16 damage. You think you've torn off like a quarter chunk of this pedestal that the orb is protecting.
Okay, can I do another one?
Sure. You hit it with another firebolt.
You couldn't roll like this when we were fighting the other stuff?
You burn away at it. Half of the ice has been sheared away, and half of the pedestal is melted. Slicing through it with your firebolts like butter. Okay, you got a little overconfident and like shot wide. It hits Dave, but Dave just soaks it up. Tickles a little. And Dave's kind of appreciative because he's like, oh, the ice, it kind of burned, so like it felt good getting the firebolt. It's nice and toasty.
Can he come and like help and sneeze on it or something?
It's too cold. The cold gives me owies. Let's just assume that like you're shooting firebolts until you hit the thing.
For goodness sake. That's it. All my good rolls are gone now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're just them two.
I'm dying.
Hey, there we go.
So these firebolts are shooting left, right, all over the place. It's like a laser show. And finally Shaefira hits like square on with like a firebolt, and it cuts off another chunk. So there's this little teeny quarter mound of this power orb left and one chunk of ice. And finally you blast that.
Well.
But as you blast away this orb into nothingness with your firebolt, there's this one last burst of the ice that enveloped it. And everybody on this platform needs to make a dexterity saving throw to see if they get hit by the cold blast. Which includes poor little Dave. Kymir saves, but Shaefira does not. And Dave does not. Uh-oh. There's 2d6 cold damage. So you take 6 cold damage, Shaefira. Dave, because he is vulnerable... Oh, I lied. Oh my god, I didn't realize. I thought he was vulnerable to cold, but he resists cold. So, okay, he could have helped all along. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Imps are resistant to cold? Really?
God.
I guess it's because he's a devil. But you've destroyed all of the orbs.
Does that mean all the portals close now?
Yeah. You hear Kerithlana call out, and you hear the sound of a large whacking. And you hear Kerithlana call out like, "Whacking's good! The shields are down!" And there's like this clang, 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 clang coming from the west, where Kerithlana and Stiiv are working on busting the infernal portal that leads to some other place from here.
Go back and help them if you need it.
Yeah. This time just roll one acrobatics check to see if you get back across without falling in. You're both good. You've had a practice run. You have figured out how this whole balance thing works. And traveling back across the narrow land bridge, much easier than traveling across it the first time. All of you like hack, hack, hack on the portal. After a good 15 minutes of beating on it, because there is some like damage reduction, you've managed to break it down, and it poofs out of sight. The swirling energies, their magic broken. So that portal is gone.
Undone. Okay, so the last one was up by the elemental dude, yeah?
Yeah, but that's the portal back to the Great Pool.
It is.
Don't want to break that one, do we?
No, we need to go back through it. But did we say we were going to go back and speak to the elemental guy?
Well, you may have to, like, on your way out.
Alright, then I guess we run back that way.
Where was it?
To the north.
Back to the portal. So we'll plop you back up there. It takes a good, you hike for an hour around this cavern and stuff, and you're like wary and stealthy, trying to avoid any of the native demons that might be wandering around. There's no more sign of devils since you've broken the infernal portal. Once you destroy the infernal portal on this side, nothing new is coming through there. It's just the natural residents. Once you return to this portal back to the Great Pool, you see that the 3 colored crystals that were previously illuminated, they're all dead now. No light shining. Piers, your elemental friend, is no longer within the shield prison, and he waves one stony paw to you. So, yay, you did it!
Took so long.
Good job! I didn't think you had it in you.
We almost didn't.
Oh, was a bit of a hairy situation.
The feathery situation.
A feathered situation. Oh, you ran into the demon bird, did you?
Nasty.
I really appreciate you freeing me from my devil bonds. No elemental really likes serving humanoids against their will. Not when you don't
No.
have a friendship behind it. Not when it's not symbiotic relationship.
All right. So did he say he could close the portal behind us if we went back through?
Well, you know how portals work, don't you?
Do I? Do I know how portals work?
Kerithlana looks a little bit uncertain. She's like, it's a trick question. She's like, well, you can whack them from both sides. And Piers is like, exactly. So I would recommend that you go through the portal to back to wherever you came from, because you probably like that place better than you like this place. And that's when you start whacking it.
Okay. Will you whack it from this side?
Oh, sure, I don't like oppression, so I'll be happy to whack it a bit. You know, you've been so helpful, saving me from my imprisonment and unwanted oppression. How's about, let me show you a bit of appreciation. You see Piers, he kind of flexes his stone arms, and he kind of is made out of what looks like volcanic glass and stone. And he bashes one arm against the cavern wall. And this sharp, sheer shard of his body slices off his arm and falls to the ground like a blade. And he kind of smiles as much as an earth elemental can smile. And he winks at you as much as an earth elemental can wink and says, try stabbing things with the pointy end. And leaves for you guys to pick up the blade from the floor.
Okay.
And I'm putting it into your party inventory because I'm unorganized. It's taking more than a second. It's as if it's a stiletto made out of obsidian, incredibly sharp at the tip, like black glass, but the base is rough from where it was on the exterior surface of Piers' form, and it makes it easy for gripping.
Stiletto sounds like dagger type thing.
Just say it's a light finesse weapon.
All right. I'm going to suggest it would be ideal for you then.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you stab. And Piers waves you off. Have fun breaking the portal.
Oh, we will. I'm going to wave to him.
Free elementals from their oppressors.
Raise my arm, my fist clenched.
And Stiiv kind of mumbles under his voice, is like, I guess we should tell him about the jelly boat. Good thing he doesn't know. So you step through the pool, right, through the portal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll drag you back to the other map.
Okay.
Ooh, that map was so much larger. Oh! Farron is here. Guarding. He's been working on the pools. So, while the map displays it as being green and murky water, it's actually been clarified and now is sparkling a pure blue once more. You see
What,
that the
pool
single
where the dragon is, or?
Yeah. You see that there's been like the dragon is actually not there anymore. There's been something tastefully has been done so that it's just an empty pool. You're not quite sure what Farron has done with the remains of the fallen dragon Kymir, the mate of Kaifoth. But he's gotten it out of the way so that if any dragon kids run into this room, they're not going to see something that might scar their young psyches further.
I guess we whack the portal.
Farron dismisses the moonbeam he had that was like guarding the portal. And now that you're free to whack at this infernal portal, you all hit at it. There's still the kind of damage resistance, so that not every blow seems to really make purchase. But after whacking away at it for like a good half hour to an hour, you manage to wear it down, and then it poofs and swirls out of sight.
Yeah.
So you've cleared away the portals. Farron is extremely relieved. And he says to you, "We all must be wary that the devils have had the audacity to come into this sacred place and challenge such a powerful dragon as Kaifoth. While there's still work to finish cleansing the grove, I will need to travel back west and inform the gatekeepers. They will want to take action to be on guard against further devil insurrections." Farron turns to Kerithlana and he says, "I think the time has come for your exile to have ended." And Kerithlana looks a little bit surprised by this because she didn't realize that she'd been exiled from anything.
Oh, bless.
She's like, I thought I was just checking out, seeing how things were in the East. I didn't realize what. And Farron continues, kind of glossing over that, that it was a surprise to her. "I will need you to accompany me back to the Elding Reaches, to the home grove. You'll have responsibilities there. You'll need to report what we have seen." And Kerithlana kind of looks like, "Oh boy, when do we start swimming?" She nods her head and she's like, "Okay, I'm going home. My job here is done." And she looks back at you and she says, "Well, this was very nice. I'm sure you will have a great time dealing with all of the devils and maybe running into more demons. And all those crazy people back at Saltmarsh and that very weird bridge that makes me sick all the time. And you'll all get elected to the city council. That will be nice for you. And yes, you'll get to try staying away from that Oceanus asshole."
Well, I was about to say, should we send him along with you?
Oh no.
Yes, I'm sure you'll need a
Oh no,
companion.
he's
I think we should let him know where you are.
and Farron holds up a hand. He's like, "No, he's not gatekeeper affiliated. We do not want him. He's Saltmarsh's problem." Kerithlana, though, she takes the circlet of oceany bits off of her head and she hangs it over Kymir's horns. And she says, "I think you should probably look out for this because we don't want Oceanus laying his hands on it. But from what he said, it seems like it might be important. So I don't feel like I should take it back to the home grove." So, Kymir, you now have a crown of oceany bits.
Do I look pretty?
Ooh, yes, lovely. It doesn't actually fit on your head because of your horns, but there
Yeah,
you
it's
go.
just I can just imagine it. It's hanging like a hula hoop, or them fairground things that you toss.
And then she pulls a shell out of her bag and she hands it to Shaefira. And she clasps your hand around it and she says, "Dear, I think you might need this one day." And it looks like it's the brass oyster shell that you found in the haunted house a long, long time ago. And to Stiiv, she like goes to just shake his hand, but he like flinches a little bit because he thinks she's gonna smack him again. And then finally he relents and like shakes her hand as well. And they kind of like, she kind of like steps back like, okay, I disengaged from the party. Her next stop is going to be heading back to the Elden Reaches. Perhaps I will see you again. But if not, good luck. Farron then says, "There's the matter of the child."
What about his mum?
Well, that's going to take potentially consulting with the rest of the gatekeepers. For if the devils of Shavarath have control of a dragon of Kaifoth's power, it is surely going to be trouble for Eberron. But I don't expect you to take responsibility for that at this time. However, someone must care for the child. Since the local Bloodroot tribe holds the dragon Kaifoth in high esteem, since the dragon Kaifoth would tutor the tribe's royal children, I think it is a reasonable course that you escort the child back to the tribe and ask them to guard him for the time being until we decide some other place where he can be sheltered. I trust that Queen Othakent will guard the child Gary with her life and the lives of her lizard folk.
Sounds like a good plan.
We just need you to take the child back to the tribe.
Of course you do.
Stiiv.
Stiiv's like, I don't want a kid. Can we put him in? Can we put him in the bag?
I was just going to say, just put it in the bag of holding, and away we go. I'm sure he'll find
Farron
something to eat
shakes
in
his
there
head.
occasion.
Things can't breathe in a bag of holding. You do know that, right? You don't have anything alive in that bag, do you? That would be a crime against nature.
Well,
No, we haven't done that. No, it was just an idea. Oh, he's going to want to take all his top. Where is he? Is he still in the?
He's still in the nursery,
Okay,
hiding out.
right. Did we get the sap that we were going to try and get for the
one
tribe
healthy.
as well?
I'm glad you asked that because the one healthy tree is in this room. So if you explain to Farron that you needed to bring a vial of sap back to Queen Othakent for their ritual, explain the whole situation about Sowagan scum and being like, they're hassling the whole area. We need to like form a diplomatic, team, some form of, I don't know, Saltmarsh Union joining forces against the Sowagan. And getting this sap as part of Saltmarsh's whole deal, trying to make friends with the lizard folk. He helps you collect it into the vial without doing any further damage to the trees, making sure that it's pure. And then he kind of, he and Kerithlana stay behind as they're finishing up the purification work there. And he kind of, lets you go, assuming that you will collect Gary on your way out and escort him back to the Bloodroot tribe.
Hands up those who want to just run for it. Well, just away from the... No, we should take the kid. Okay.
I laugh so hard sometimes with the things you say.
Do we need to worry about? So we shouldn't have. There shouldn't be anything else left around here to worry about fighting. We can just go back. Don't have to sneak or
Yeah,
anything.
you don't have to sneak. You've cleared through. You head back. I'm not going to bother opening up. I was going to open up another the other map, but for now, let's not mess with it.
Okay.
So you
I guess the
head
only-
further south. It takes like about an hour to go through all of the, because it's a large, grandiose ruin. So you have to cross that huge bridge that was over a gaping chasm. And now you figured that, hey, down that chasm, it probably goes all the way down to Kymir. There's probably a big, bubbling, nasty acid pool down there. If one were to jump over the side, it's a good thing nobody wanted to try that. So you keep going farther south to where you know that the nursery was. And there you find Gary. He's reading a book. You see he's drawn. He's made some drawings with some crayons while you were gone. And there are a bunch of scary things. There's like demons and there's devils. There's also a drawing of like some kind of crone with a hut with chicken's legs. And another crone who's playing with a deck of cards that all have these like fancy pictures on it. And then you see like he's made a drawing of the two-bladed scythe that he lent to you of the Hands of Fate. And he's done these kind of crude drawings of all of you. So there's one of Kymir holding the new weapon. There's one of Shaefira being stealthy, like you can barely see her. Of Stiiv with his tentacle, Toby. And Kerithlana with her crown of oceany bits that Gary now notices is on Kymir's head. And then next to Gary, kind of acting like it is grazing grass, but it's not actually grazing grass because it's a construct dragon. It's that little construct dragon toy that Gary was riding earlier. I can't remember if he called it something. I want to say Rufus, but that might have been the dragon toy.
I thought that was a plushie. Yeah.
The plushie was Rufus. He
Think so.
asked you, did you bring Rufus back? My plushie? You got it?
No.
Did you save
we
the world?
lost him. We might have saved the world.
Did you save my mom? You have my mom?
Not yet.
Oh,
I know.
gosh.
I'm really sorry, Gary.
When's she coming back? With my shell siblings?
Well, Therin's going to go speak to some people who are very important and know a lot of stuff. Him and Kerithlana are going to go speak to them. And
Well, what's going to happen with me? I'm all alone.
well, no, you're not alone. You've got us for now. And we're going to take you to Queen Offa Kent, who is the mother of Belly.
You mean Belly's mom? Oh.
Belly's mum, yeah. And we think she would be really happy to look after you while we sort out what's happening with your mum and get her back.
Oh, yeah, my mom was friends with them.
So, if that's okay with you, because we don't want to leave you here by yourself, and it's not good for a little boy to live by himself. So
Yeah, I don't want to be here by myself.
So you come with us. We'll take you to Queen Offa Kent, and she'll look after you until we can get your mum back.
Okay. So we'll call his construct dragon Bartholomew instead.
That's a good name.
And he rides the construct dragon along with you. You guys can all hop on the back if you want to. There's room enough for 4.
It's not very often you get to ride any kind of dragon, so
Mhm.
sure, why not?
Yep.
So you kind of like march. You guys get to take a load off, relax a little bit because all you have to do is work on staying on the construct dragon's back. And it marches through the ruins. Gary knows his way. So you get to take a little bit of a breather for an hour or so while he makes the trek back out through the groves. Eventually, you reach the flight of stairs that climbs to the highest level of the ruins. The dragon narrowly kind of just barely fits up the stairway. There's a little bit of a squeeze with like the metal bits kind of screeching across the stone of the ruins as it goes up the stairs. And then you turn to the left, and then there's that long flight of stairs that was trapped, and there's the gong behind you as you made the descent into through these ruins in the first place. And you go up the winding steps and platforms. Sometimes it's a little bit nerve wracking because the path is just construct dragon sized. And if you look over the side where you're sitting on the back, there's a sheer drop to the level below if you were to fall off of the construct dragon. So there's some holding on tight in places. And Stiiv squeals a few times. But you finally make it back to the entrance area.
Okay, so that's the bottom of the shaft down where we had our rope, yeah?
Yeah. So you had a
Right.
rope. The rope and the pitons are still there. There's the remains of the great tree that is splitting the floor, but it's all like the charred remains. And there's that like 30-foot gap or so, I think, between. Wasn't there a certain gap between where the ropes ran out and where the floor was? Or am I completely forgetting that?
Sounds familiar, does that? Go back.
A little bit of a drop. Maybe it was just enough where you could land on the ruins of the tree, but still a bit of a gap. Maybe the rope made it all the way.
We managed to navigate down the hole into the ruins. We find a burnt tree at the bottom and a lot of blood. Right, I haven't made a note of the drop.
When you get to that tower-like opening, and there's a rope dangling down, it's not too much of a jump to reach it. It's not. It wouldn't be so much of a, maybe a little bit to like grab onto it. But the dropping from it wouldn't, actually damage somebody. They could tumble pretty easily on the landing, which is probably why Shaefira did it really easily. But Gary gets a load of this, and he looks at the construct dragon, and he looks at the size of the tower, the width of it, and even though it's like about 15 by 15 feet around, he's like, it's a little bit of a narrow squeeze for his construct dragon. So he looks at the dragon and he says a word. Do any of you speak Draconic?
I don't think so. No.
No, I don't.
He says something in Draconic, and as he does so, the construct dragon gets a little bit smaller. And now it's of the proportion where it could potentially fit into the tower. And it kind of stretches out its metal wings. It's no longer large enough for all of you to sit on its back, so you kind of flop off. But there's enough room for two. And as Gary is still holding on, and he says, which one of you wants to come with?
Stiiv, I think it'd be better.
Yeah.
Consider again with the athletics and the dex, we
Yeah.
should be able to handle the
We
climb better.
Yeah.
Okay. How about we could tie we'll tie strap Stiiv onto the back so there's no chance he'll fall off.
Sounds good.
Stiiv was like, well, okay. So the construct dragon kind of takes off, and you see it fly up, ascend, descend, 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 and float out of sight. And then after a few minutes, you hear Steve's voice call down. It's like, I'm okay. So that sounds more like Gary calling, but okay. But you know what I mean. You hear like the echoing shouts that they've reached the top. And Gary calls, do you want me to send the dragon back down for you?
I want to take the rope
Yeah,
back.
we need to gather the rope back up, don't we?
Yeah.
Steve says, well, I could pull the rope up from here.
But didn't we attach it with the pittance?
Oh, yeah. Can you
Yeah.
get my pittance? Can you get my pittance? What does Steve's voice sound like? I can't remember. Guys, could you get my pittance?
Right, I think we're going to have to climb back up and take it back with us as we go up.
As you climb up, Dave is flying with you, trying to help. So it's going to be some athletics or acrobatics checks to see if you make it up the shaft without falling at all.
Oh, now I roll crap.
But much like the descent, I'm really looking for absolute failure here.
I rolled a 20, so I just bounced right up to the top.
Oh yeah, tippity toppity.
Popping out
Shaefira's
all
like,
the buttons as I go.
Shaefira's like, beep beep beep. This is nothing.
Kymir is distracted by the glittering tiara on his horns.
Yeah, and the tiara, you're still feeling nothing. You don't know what the big deal was about this crown. You know, and there's like the seashell kind of blocking one eye. So you're kind of like struggling up the rope trying to see where the first platform is because there's a seashell in your eye. But you make it.
Cool.
It's been so long, I'm now remembering that this works when you drag from here rather than dragging from there. So you made it up to the first platform. Shaefira has absolutely no problem, and she's like up to the second platform by now. I think that's how it worked. Dave is just floating along, in free space, keeping an eye out just in case somebody looks like they're gonna lose their grip. And roll another acrobatics check to see if you make it to the next to last platform.
My God.
So Shaefira, 2 20s in a row. Beep, 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 beep. She just poofs up. She's at the top again. She's all the way up at the top.
Oh my God.
With Steve.
To be fair, I could help pull the ropes up, couldn't I?
You've got like half the ropes, and Kymira's like, wait, I still need that. Because Kymira's like halfway up the shaft, and Dave is with you. I need to add Geary back. He's got his little boy form. So Kymir, roll again to see if you make it to the third platform.
Slightly better.
Yeah, this time you climb up without doing anything that looks ungainly. But you have to make one more. It's the last stretch before you reach the surface. And you rolled a nat 1.
Shit. Bounces all the way back down. Oh my God.
So, Kymir falls. But do a saving throw. A dex save. And you land on the platform below. Now it's like 25 feet, and I think it's something like a d8 for every 10 feet that you potentially fall. So you land with a woof and you take 11 damage. But you don't fall all the way down, which would be certain death. And Gary looks down. He's like, are you sure you don't want the dragon?
You know, we can buy a rope.
Yeah, you did. You know what? Yeah, let's do that.
You've got half the rope. You got half the pittance.
Straight. Yeah, fine. Take the dragon. Let's not risk it.
So Gary sends a little construct dragon down, and it picks. You can hop on its back, and it flies up, and you're all on the surface. You have escaped the ruins of Marseval. And I think that is where we're going to end it for this session. And I also should say that with that, reaching, technically when you get back to Saltmarsh, that's going to be the milestone where you can take level 5. So go ahead and keep in mind what you want to take for level 5. Like, you can't technically use any of those abilities until you get back to Saltmarsh, but you might want to think about what you're going to do for your level 5 stuff, or what your level 5 stuff is before next session, because you could make it back to Saltmarsh then.
Are you kidding? The way we go, we'll end up like other side of the bloody world.
You just gotta make it back. You just gotta drop the kid off and then head home. I mean, what could go wrong?
Indeed.
Oh, drop off the kid and the sap.
And the sap.
Make sure that the Bloodroot tribe is good to go.
See if his boat's still there with the guards.
With the guard.
And then get back.
Get back to town. Profit. What could go wrong? You survived so much. You killed a Vrock, which was technically a CR6 monster. Slightly damaged by a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I think that helped.
But you could tell like how difficult it was.
Oh god. Well, that was good.
Hooray! So it only took almost 4 hours.
Yeah, but it's done.
But it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
You've survived Marseval. That dungeon is over. On to the next thing.
Avoiding being voted into the council.
Whatever the consequences of what happened in that dungeon is a problem for future you, but it's certainly not a problem for level 5 you, which is what's important. Alrighty.
All right.
Critical,
Thank
thanks,
you for that.
guys.
Thanks, Bonnie.
You've all done very well.
What were you going to say, Rich?
Is it next week, or
Are we still on for next week? Yeah.
Yeah, theoretically.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, we're good for it. I don't think we've got anything planned, so just let us know.
We may or may not have more players. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows, indeed.
Anything could happen.
Oh my God. All right then.
Okie dokie. See
All right.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Steve.